Hello, hello. Hi, me Sasi, and this is day 8 of improving my communication skill, in which I am going to read book. I'm not doing tongue twister today, as I have already late, and actually I was doing something. Uh, that's my hobby, and that is video editing. So okay, and as I have already told in last video that tomorrow is on the 12th of September. I had an exam that was machine learning, and that go well. Not that much. I expected because I have read too much things and I forgot some basic things, and then that's next. But I have written like objective was all correct and all looks. I have attempted almost all questions, and I hope I will get approx how much 50 out of 70. I hope I read that that much. ये बंदा शेड से बाहर निकलने का सब Sorry, I have to check. Sorry. Hello, hello, hello. Not audible. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, wait. What's happening? Every day. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. That's not good. Wait a second. I'm live, but I'm not audible. That's why. Sorry, guys. No, fine. Hmm. I have already shared. So uh, if I talk about my day, it was simple. As I wake up at approx 9 a.m. and after that I take what I taken a lunch breakfast, then I start reading, and then I take a small nap. After that I went to lunch, and af- after a while I ready for our exam. Once again, sorry Shriram. Oh, hi Shriram. Uh, till now I'm not starting what, but I should. So I will do some tongue twister. I hope you like it, and you will also try as well as me. I will share not a screen, just listen me and try to speak. This is a first simple tongue twister. Red bulb, blue bulb, 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 red bulb, blue bulb. Red bulb, blue bulb, red bulb, blue bulb, red bulb, blue bulb, red bulb, blue bulb, red bulb, blue bulb. Now try next one. Red lorry, yellow lorry, 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 red lorry, yellow lorry. Now move to the next tongue twister. Sorry. Now we will try with pencil. Red lorry, yellow lorry, 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 red lorry, yellow lorry. Sriram, I hope you are trying as well as with me. So just try. Red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry. Now move to the next one, little bit longer one. BT by some butter, but the butter was bitter, so she put some other butter to make the bitter butter better. BT by some butter, but the butter was bitter, so she bought some other butter to make the bitter butter better. Now, BT butter, BT by some butter, but the butter was bitter, so she bought some other butter to make the bitter butter better. BT by some butter, but the butter was bitter, so she bought some other butter to make the bitter butter better. Okay, now I am I am going to read the book. So I read the chapter number 10. This is the 8, but I reached to chapter number 10. So this is the book Love is What You Make It by Priti Shenoy. And this is a love story book. So I will start with I'm sharing the screen. So before starting this one, I means in a brief manner I will say what the story behind that in chapter 9 till chapter 9. First, our writer or our main character of this story is Ankita. She is from Kerala, and first time when she passed from 12 and get into the graduation, then his boyfriend named Vaibhav, he went to IIT Delhi, and after a while, sometimes she met another guy named Abhi, and fall in love with him. But after some times, due to some after till graduation they are together, Abhi and Ankita. But when Ankita and Abhi and other friends also try to get into MBA college, then Ankita selected for one big college from Bombay, and one good thing was that Ankita's father's transfer to Bombay as they are working person. So, but uh, Ankita's boyfriend named Abhi, he got not selected for best college, so she had only one option in taking admission in CU set in Kerala, one college, MBA college, but Abhi want to stay. Abhi wants that Ankita stay with him, and they got a court marriage, but she was not agree with that, and after a while Abhi attempt suicide, and he died, and that the whole story till now. But now Gita, our writer, is so confused and so uh, disturbed, but somehow they are moving ahead, so this is racing ahead. So Bombay is everything I imagined it to be, and everything I never imagined it to be too. Bombay is like the proverbial el- elephant being described by five blind men. Everyone feels a teeny bit of it, and is convinced that their version of it is the real Bombay. It was a giant cauldron of cultures, personalities, pocket, and they blended effortlessly, merging to create a new potpourri which welcomed everybody. It was almost magical. No matter which part of the country you came from, no matter whether you were a foreigner or a native, no matter what you were or how you spoke, Bombay quietly understood, accepted, and welcomed you into its fold. You felt right at a home and you fitted in. In Bombay, people measured distance by time taken to commit. The suburban railway carried more than 6 million commuters on a daily basis. This was more than half the capacity of passengers on the Indian Railway itself. It, I took it like a duck of water and become just one passenger in the 6 million. There were about 60 of us. Just one passenger in the 6 million. There were about 60 of us in my batch. The institute did not have its own hostel, but those students who were from outside were accommodated in the Bombay University hostels. There were mostly day scholars and just used the local train. On mo- one most on most day, I would leave home at 7 a.m. as it took me about an hour and 20 minutes to go get to college. I learned to manage the commute in no time at all. At, at my new college every day we all At my new college, everybody went all out to welcome us, the freshmen. The dean, the director, and two other professors addressed us. They said the usual things that are said on such occasion. They talked about how this was the first step in a new journey, how we would be transformed at the end of the course, and how we would lead and take our places in the corporate world. They spoke about the glory of the institute. They gave us an outline of what to expect. Then there was a slideshow. There was one slide which made us feel very important. They had calculated the number of people who have applied and the number that finally got selected, and told us the probability of getting selected, and that we were in the privileged fraction. They made us feel special and part of an elite family. After this, we took a break for snacks and refreshment. The second part of the session was an ice-breaking session. They had put all our names into ball and draw out five at a time. And the five that they draw out from a group, yes, Satish, it's helped because of you try to speak loud, and your tongue is not means when I speaks, then most of the saliva comes in our mouths. So whenever I use the pencil, then it's not come, I must I come in normal way. So that's why it helps me to speak louder, and which it forced me to speak louder to voice clear. And I am 100% sure if I practice more, then I have a clear voice after few days. So this will surely help you. And not everyone needs different type of practice, because of every have a different types of problem while speaking. Some has tongue not turn as much as they want. And so if you have that type of problem, then you have to do other things. If you have uh, problems like me, I observe that whenever I try to talk to someone, then saliva means through that's come in my mouth, and that's why I cannot speak clearly. So I am practicing with pencil, as many celebrities had said that if you practice with pencil, then your voice will be clear. So that's why I practicing with pencils, and surely it will be. And for not fumbling is all about the practice of sentences. If you speak just like if I start reading in fast, then I will fumble or at all. If I speak in slow manner, then it will be, I have to focus and read what actually in sentence, and I have to be prepared before that pronouncing that words. So it's reduce the fumbles. So such as both I have to clarity and fumbles. Both things I have to improve. So I just the second part of the session was an ice breaking session. They had put all our names into a ball and draw out fab at a time. And the fab that they draw out from a group, welcome Satish. They were only 12 girls in my class. The men far outnumbered the women. By a strange quirk, my group had three girls, including myself. All the other girls, all the other groups had just one girl, or were all male. The two boys who were in our group were sitting undisguised envious looks from other guys. If this if saying lucky dogs. We were given time to discuss and prepare, and we had made to present a sort of ad film about our group with slide introducing each members their dislikes, and anything else we thought relevant. They asked us to be as creative and different as we could. They gave an OHP sheet and marker and set us to work. Initially, everyone seems hesitant and lost, but gradually everyone started speaking, and in no time there was laughter, ribbing, and discussions as much as each group got involved in the task at hand. The two girls in the group were Chaya and Jigna, both of whom had been born and brought up in Mumbai. They presented a study in contrast. Chaya, Chaya was thin and short and looked like a child who was in class 10, not a student of management institute. Jigna was very tall, fair, and well built with their short hair and very confident. I found the name Jigna to be very unusual and had to ask her twice what her name was. Jigna, Jigna had no work experience like me and was a fresh from college, but Chaya had been working with a financial firm for a year. Of the two guys, the first, namely Joseph, looked like an absent-minded professor. He had a unruly mop of unruly curly hair and twinkling eyes. Joseph had worked for 2 years at a shipping firm. Uday, Uday was beard and had an air of restlessness and arrogance about him. He was fresh from my engineering college, but looked a lot older than other student. Look lot older than a student who had just finished engineering. The classes at my new college began right in the earnest. And the classes at my new college began right in the earnest. My dad my days at Agnes seemed like a different lifetime and a different world. It had been only about 2 months since I moved to Bombay, but felt like I had been here forever. Maybe it was my attitude, or maybe it was the place, but I had taken to it marvelously and was completely at ease. I had made new friends too, and I felt happy that I fitted in. I had already begun to enjoy my course. ev- Sorry, completely, completely at ease. I had made new friends too, and I felt happy that I fitted in. I had already begun to enjoy my course, even though the methodology for teaching used in management school was different from anything I had experienced before. It was the first time I discovered that subject could be taught without book or lectures, at least not the conventional way. I heard from both Suvi and Webo. I was delighted to get their letters and we gave in touch and be back in touch. It was it was around his time it was around this time that I began to take an active interest in running. I don't know how it started, but suddenly I decided that I would begin jogging. I had always been actively involved in a sport at a school, but I seemed to have forgotten it at college. I announced my intention to my parent and kept a spare key to the house so that I would not disturb my parent when I went out. The residential complex I stayed in had a lovely jogging track, and I would wake up at 5 a.m. and begin my day with a jogging. It was invigorating. I felt full of energy and so lively as I began my day. Sad that I would normally not see. Newspaper, news, Newspapers begin a stack in pile, ready to be delivered. The milk shelter arriving, people walking their dogs, old people doing yoga in group in the park. All this greeted me, and I looked at it, marveling that there was an entire new morning world out there, right under my nose, something that I had missed earlier. When I reached college that day, Gina and Joseph both remarked how charged up I was looking. Later, Later, when we took a break for tea, Joseph took me aside and asked if I had been doing drugs. Oh no, I don't even smoke. I said, and he laughed at how horrified I looked. Come on, yaar, it's not I do it's the ultimate sin. You looked kind of manic this morning, he said. It was not the ultimate sin, but it definitely is not for me. Maybe I am looking charged up as you call it because I started jogging. That explains it. It seems you have this storehouse of energy that you are waiting to unleash. Later on the way home, I thought about what he said. It was the first time that someone had described me as manic. She was unwittingly very close to the truth, but of course at the time neither he nor or I or neither she nor I or anybody else in the world had even the slightest inkling or suspicious about it. On the surface I seemed normal, but the underneath change were taking place, so subtle, so gradual and slowly, much like the gradual movement in tectonic plates which would be in each plates which would then result in large outbursts like a volcanic eruption. Had I known about it then, perhaps I could have taken a path that took a different turn. But nobody was aware, least of all me. If I had woken up on one morning and found myself transformed into a completely different person, perhaps the change would have been obvious. It was a series of events that had to be pieced together gradually like a jigsaw puzzle, and it was only when you finished the jigsaw that it made sense. I began sleeping less and less. One most day I got home at 7:30 p.m. or something 8. My mother should always have a hot meal ready for me. She felt I was working very hard, which I indeed was. After he After we had our meal together, my parents would retire for the night. I would begin studying the book I had borrowed from the institute library. I know institute library. It was like a whole it was like a whole new door had opened that there was so much to discover. I began studying seriously. I started to make elaborate, elaborate notes about everything I read. I felt that if I color code them, I could remember it better. So I bought a pack of sketch pens and color pencil. If there was if there was a particular explanation I lacked from a Philip Cort- Kotler book, I would where I was. I would write it in green. If there was an example which was perfectly illustrated what had just been explained, I would use an orange sketch pen and write it down. Surprisingly, the more I began writing in colors, then more things began to become. I was delighted. I was delighted with the secret discovery of mine. It was a it was it was as though I had suddenly discovered a magic power. The most amazing things about it was that the next day or even days after I wrote, I could instantly recall every single word down to the last detail. I had begun seeing word as visuals. I had always been very fast at reading. My verbal ability was one of my strengths, which had helped me clear the entrance test making up for my deficiency with numbers, but now it seems to have improved three times. I felt like a monster devouring books. I was always hungry. I wanted more and more. This obsession would cost me dearly later. Things have a way of balancing out, but it felt so good, and I was so exhilarated with the discovery of this power that I did not want it to stop. It was almost as though I had a photographic memory. The passages I wrote were so clear in my mind. I could reproduce them almost verbatim. The bonus was that I perfectly understood all of it too. It was not that I was merely reproducing words without com- comprehending them. I could close my eyes and clearly see the pages and pages of notes I had made in color. The images were indeed like photographs, and king, I, I seemed to keep clicking mental pictures. What I had not anticipated was running out of film. Most day I would be studying at the past 2 a.m. I was so excited at the prospect of studying and learning even more things, and I already knew that I just could not sleep by 5 a.m. The next morning I was up again, back to my jogging track. As I jogged, I would recall everything I read the previous night and everything I had made notes about. My notes began increasing rapidly and I filed them neatly. Sometime in the margin, I drew a picture that would help me remember what I had read. I made acronyms which would help me in recalling almost all the points that explain a particular concept. Perhaps it was a way of closing his memory. How it's come again. Perhaps It was a way of encroaching his memory, or perhaps it was me enthusiasm to excel which made me work so hard. I don't know. Whatever it was, it seems to be propelling me forward and pushing me to work harder and harder. After I got back from my job, I would rush to college. My parents my parents were happy to see me working so much. If they knew that was to come later, they would have probably stopped me, but they did not, and they felt very proud of their star child. My stamina began to improve dramatically. I could jog great distance without going out of breath. I was no longer satisfied with the slow jogging. I started practicing sprints. One morning I wanted to see how fast I could run. I wanted to measure the distance. I had no measuring tape. My watch had stopwatch functions and I timed myself. When I finished, I was astonished to see I could run 100 meters in about 13.8 seconds. I was certain that it was close to the national record. This discovery gave me such a thrill and that I just could not keep quiet about it. Then I come home and I told my parents about it. My mother said, "I think you should stop this jogging of yours. Look at you. You are become so thin. You look like someone who escaped from concentration camp." I was irritated with my mother, but I chose to keep quiet. Afterward, I looked at myself in a full-length mirror. My mother did have a point. My mother did have a point. I was shocked to see how thin I had become, but I consoled myself, saying one could never to be thin or too rich. Later, Later, when I met my friends, I could not contain my discovery about my running speed. I told Joseph, Chaya, Jigna about it. Hell, here is the India's next beat user, said Joseph and the others singered. Come on, guys, damn me, I will prove it, I said. A lot of people get gathered to watch the challenges. I was certain I could it. Joseph and I measured the 100-meter distance in the open quadrangle of the institute and set the starting and finishing marks. Jigna was the start. Jigna was at the start, and she said, "Ready, steady, go." And I sprinted. He completed it in. Jigna was at the start. She said, "Ready, steady, and go." I sprinted and I completed it in 13.8 seconds. "Arey, yes, such me. PT Usha Nikli boss." Joseph exclaimed. I walked up to Joseph and said in a quiet voice, "Don't very fucking doubt what I am saying in the future. Got it?" There was an edge in my voice which was an alien to me. I had no idea why I was seething and aggressive. It was a through I wanted to strike him. I could suddenly see the concern and slight fear in his eyes. Everybody was quiet. It seemed very funny, and I started laughing up uncontrollably. There was silence for a fraction of a second, and then all of them joined in the laughter and moment passed off as a joke. But I sensed something in my close to snapping at the point in time. But as was my usual way, I brushed it aside. In me, but as my usual way, I brushed it aside. IT or information technology was one of the subject in the course. We had an exam coming up soon. I studied like a maniac. I had made extensive notes again in color. When the result come out a week later, I had topped the class. I had a score of 98 out of 100. The person who came second was Uday and he had a scored only 76. The faculty who taught the course was very impressed with me, but I was far from happy. I kept looking at the paper and kept getting angry that I had lost 2 marks. It was as if I was possessed by a sprint of perfection. I liked your attitude. Very well done, said Susil Mehra, the faculty of faculty for the course. He was very young and everybody called him Susil. But Susil, I was expecting a centum, I said, and the disappointment showing in my voice. Next next time, Ankita, yes ma'am. There was to be no next time. This was the zenith, the pinnacle. There would be more mountains to climb, but of a different kind. No, but to climb those, I had to descend first. But before I descend, I would stun everybody, including myself. The chain of events that happened at the first intercollegiate event in my new courses was the backdrop to it. That was to that that was to come later. For now, I was content and secure, basking in the glory of my academic success and my daily running. Oh, I finishes in just 20 minutes, I think. Less than 20 minutes, 10 pages. One page is for 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm faster. Should I start reading second chapter? Yeah. So just listen me, and this is chapter number 11, that is dancing in the dark. The cultural fest was exactly like the numerous ones I had attended in my previous college, but it was not competitive at all. It was more for fun and entertainment. It, it had a lot of corporate sponsor. I was told that it gave the seniors a good working experience to organize such event. When we entered the venue, I was dazzled by the flamboyant flamboyant way it was done by the glitter, the glamour, and the stylish way the com- stylish way the compare was addressing everyone. The huge speaker and the shiny ball in the center. Suspense, suspense. Sorry, I'm very excited. The glitter, the glamour, and the stylish way to compare was addressing everyone. The huge speaker and the shiny ball in the center suspended from the ceiling, which reflected disco lights. The dance floor, the stage, the corporate banner that bended in the seamlessly and smoothly were all well integrated. Chaya, Jigna, Uday, and Joseph too were impressed. We were a little late, and it had already begun. The compere, Compere, the compere was now announcing the next contest, which is popularly called Jam, or just a minute. You must take part in this, Joseph said. The compere was calling for entries, and before I could protest to Joseph, he caught my hand and raised it high, calling out of my name. She immediately announced it to me, it on and the mic, and I had no option but go up on the stage. Standing on the stage with a spotlight focused on me, I felt a strange sense of exhilaration. A million thoughts were swarming in my mind like a pack of bees whose behave has been disturbed. I struggled to rein them in. They were floating across in hoods, and my mind struggled to keep up the pace. I tried to slow down my mind. I tried to slow down my thinking. I tried to desperately make sense of that I was feeling, but the more I tried, the more aware I become that I could not. A sense of aesthetic feelings was washing over me in waves. I was aware of the compere now pushing a ball towards me, which held bit of paper that had a topic of jam written on them. Rather, another way. I took out one and open it. It read Clint Eastwood's drinking preference good vodka, bad martini, and ugly rum. I had 10 seconds to compose my thoughts, and then I would have to speak one the topic without a pause, a stammer, a stutter, or a grammatical error. The theme song track from the motion picture, good, bad, and ugly. I started playing, and suddenly every note in the music that was playing in the background became so poignant, so clear, and so very intense. As the music faded, I started speaking about Mr. Martini, Miss Vodka, and Miss Rum, very actual. Three ladies who had a crush on Eastwood and how their styles of sipping alcohol affected their relationship with Eastwood. I spoke effortlessly, and my speech was full of sexual innuendos, and I had the audience roaring with laughter. I felt supremely charged up with my own cleverness, and I stunned myself by speaking so clearly and so engagingly that my that the compare forgot to ring the bell, and at the end of 1 minute I continued for a full 3 minutes before she realized and then interrupted me. I announced my amazing performance, but now the audience was screaming more and more. Let her continue. We wanted to hear more. I grabbed the mic from the com- compeer and continued for 2 more minutes. I was feeling invincible, irresistible, charming, and at the top of world. When I stepped out of the stage, with thunderous applause resounding in my ears. Joseph comes and hugged me and carried me in the air, and I squealed in delighted as I told him to put me down. Chaya, Digna, and Uday crowded around me and looked at me with awe. Oh my God, you are really too good, yaar. We had no idea you were that good, said Jigna. The music not changed and The music now changed to dance music and alcohol and started were being served. The rest of the evening was purely party time and the people had already begun dancing. I suddenly wanted to dance. I was never one to be this enthusiastic and usually prefer to be bystander. But I seem to have transformed entirely that night. It was, it was, it was as if a different person had completely taken over me. Come on, let us dance, I told Joseph, who was surprised as I pulled him towards the dance floor and we began dancing. We began dancing. It was as if it was as I had drunk a lot, but the truth was I had not touched a drop of alcohol. I was dancing with wild abandon and grating wildly. The music playing was a samba number, and it per- perfectly matched my unbeat fringed mood. Fringed, fringed mood. I realized I was feeling flatterous, and I danced close to Joseph for a long time. I could see he was thought truly enjoying it, and at one point he had his hand snapped around my waist. I felt seductive, attractive, and experienced a sense of profound joy. Each rhythm and beat, each note, each sound of music become crystal clear to me. I could suddenly feel of piercing beauty of each individual note. My body seemed to have got a supercharge, and the ones around me seemed to feel my magnetism too. We finally stopped after a long time. Then Joseph asked me if I wanted to the terrace. Go up to the terrace. He said, "Sorry guys, if I am not sharing the screen, then I have closed that screen so you can see me properly." We finally stopped after a long time. Then Joseph asked me if I wanted to go up to the terrace. He said the view was marvelous. I agreed immediately without much thought. I could see Chaya dancing at the other end of the dance floor. Gina was enjoying a drink and talking a guy I did not recognize. I gestured to her that I was going upstairs. She nodded absent-mindedly. Joseph and I made our up Joseph and I made our way up a stair through a narrow set of stairs. As we went up, the cool night breeze hit my face. There seems to be a million stars in the sky. We could we could hear the music from downstairs very clearly. I looked around the terrace and found that many people were sitting around. Some couples were making out, some stood at the edge of the parapet, looking around at the millions of twinkling lights that look as magnificent as the stars in the sky. The city stretched out for mile around, a spread spread out like a magic carpet. Its ugly, undrapedly crowded buildings, streets, a sprawling slum, and the million of people cloaked by the magic darkness of the night stood with glowing city lights, unawa- un- unaware of the happenings on top of this single building that was a part of its thousand. I looked to the sides and could see Uday and a group of guys. Uday was sitting, leaning his back against a water tank like a structure made of concrete. He seemed to be unnaturally still, and that was when I noticed a spring planted in his elbow. He was slowly pushing the plunger in. I looked at Joseph and saw that he had noticed it too. Do you want to try? He asked. A stranger sense of absolute assurance, assurance combined with a manic wild abandon was engulfing me. No, I was nothing like I had never felt before. No, but I want to dance. Shall we go back to the dance floor? Asked Joseph. He had his hand he had his hand around my waist from the back now, and like he was my boyfriend. And finally, I did not care. In fact, I liked it that he was being protective around towards me. No, I wanted to dance. No, I wanted to dance now. I said, and before he could say anything, I had reached over the parapet, climbed on the top of it, and started balancing precautiously over the edge. I saw the shock and fear in Joseph's eyes. It made me laugh and it compelled me to shock him more. I was obviously of the danger. I was immune to the fact that death was certain if I fell backwards or drop off more than 10 floors. I was enjoying immensely and feeling indomitably powerful. Asked, what the hell are you doing? Get down right now, Joseph screamed. Several people turned to look. It goaded me on even more. It would be marvelous to jump on it. I laughed again, now it's a little uncontrollably. Thanks, that is quite enough. Please come down now. Please, I beg you, said Joseph. I could hear and fear and despair in his voice that had seen that had seen been talking. Which idiot let her have it? Asked a guy whom I had never seen before. Suddenly I felt a bolt of anger shooting up inside me. How dare this imbecile even imply as a drug? I had not even taken a drop of alcohol. Felt violence surging inside me like a wave, and suddenly I wanted to hit him. I jumped up the carpet toward him. Who the fuck are you? I shouted at him. Advanced towards him. He took a step backward, clearly taken aback, and it enraged me further. I wanted towards him and grabbed his collar. Do you fucking know? Have you fucking seen me doing drugs or drinking? I was shaking him now, and he did not know what to do. Expletives were flowing expecting overflowing from my mouth like water, something that wasn't what I did normally. It was as though I had no control over what I was saying anymore. I could see alarm rising in him, and again I was finding that funny. I wanted to laugh, but by then Joseph had grabbed me from behind. That is enough. Come, let us go downstairs, he said. It's a, it seemed as if he was frightened even to say anything to me. I turned around and saw Uday watching the whole thing impassively. Jigna and Chaya too were on the terrace now. I had no idea when they had come up at, but judging by the looks on their face, it was it was evident they had witnessed a lot of the drama that had just unfolded. I could see I could see concern in their faces now. It is okay, I'm fine, I assured Chaya, though I had no idea what had just happened and why I had behaved like that. Tell the truth. Were you drinking or have you taken something? Did they give you a fix? Asked Joseph. No, I haven't. I haven't. I been with you all evening? Come on, guys. I thought at least all of you know me. I said a little offhand. It seemed like I really don't know you, Ankita. You are fully surprised today. Anyway, you managed to scare me a stiff, said Joseph. And he was looking at me strangely, come now as though seeing me for the first time. Sorry, it was just a bit of harmless fun. I guess I went a little on board, I said half contritely, not sensing that they were really concerned. We took the train back to Chaya's home. Joseph and another guy from our class saw us off at a station. Joseph asked if he should accompany us. Chaya assured that he would be fine. Later that night, Chaya and I spread out a mattresses in her drawing room. Her parents were already asleep in the cramped one bedroom apartment. Her brother and grandmother too were asleep in one corner of the drawing room. They were very used to sharing a space. Hey, Hans, whispered Chaya as we lay down. Don't take such risk again. What if you had fallen over? She asked. I could not answer. I had no idea myself what I had been doing. It was the first time in my life that I realized that I could not trust my own self anymore. It was very terrifying thought. I blinked away tears of shame that had been welling up in my eyes and threatening to fall. Then I turned over to the other side and pretended to be asleep. Though if though it was a very long time, probably hours before I managed to fall as asleep. Uh, this is a longer story. Dancing in the dark. She got crazy and she taken some crazy steps. She was very excited and all. So after all, she went with Chaya and take a rest, take a sleep. Next chapter, the descent. See what in the story a, a stopgap between relationship. That, okay, this is all about today. Now I'm going to take rest. Hmm. So thank you guys for watching me. Thank you Satish and Sriram for commenting on my lab chat and asking some questions. Surely we will do some sessions with together and we will practice some great session in which we really practice communicate about communication skills and it will be help us just before our sixth semester as and after 3 days we have exam of theory of structure after 3 days is on So after 5 days, I have another exam that is geotech that I haven't covered the whole syllabus, and that was lengthy one. So I will practice, and so tomorrow I have to cover theory of structure. After a while, I have to cover geotech as well as, and I have to go for a helping our senior to giving their exam, second round of JSW exam. And today I have to give the exam of Mintra Set Go online quiz on Unstop. Okay, guys, see you. Bye bye. Good night.